this thing on? Yeah? Okay. Well, hello there everybody. I'm Murray, and today we're going to look at the Canon STM 50mm f1.8. And people also know this as the Nifty 50. But first, intro. Okay, I've had my fun. Let me show you some sample footage. Okay, so I've had this lens for about a month, maybe a month and a half, and I just wanted to make a video about what I think about this thing. I know that a lot of people have been doing videos just because they just got it and they want to kind of right off the bat show you what they think about it. I kind of want to do it where I've used the lens a little bit and I want to let you guys know what I like, what I don't like about it, and how you can best use it, because there are a couple quirks with it. And I want to let you guys know so that you're prepared for it and you don't go out in the field and you go, oh man, what have I just done? And you kind of mess up and you make some mistakes and you're like, man, I just watched this Murray guy make a video and I took his word for it. And now I made this mistake and I can't fix it because I trusted him. Because I know that if I'm watching someone, I want them to tell me what's wrong with the lens and what's right with it. But anyways, enough with the blabber, let's get into it. Is this lens actually worth it? Now, I'm not going to give you a million reasons why you should get it and why it is worth it. I'm just going to show you what I learned from it. And so if you wanted to upgrade from the standard kit lens but didn't really have much in your budget, I'd say the 50mm is a great option for that. And just to give you a quick comparison between the standard kit lens and the 50mm f1.8, when you look at them side by side, they look pretty good. I mean, there's a slight difference and you can tell, but you can definitely see the difference between the two if you zoom in about 150%. Because you have better quality glass on the Nifty 50 compared to the standard kit lens, you're going to have better light coming through the lens into the camera. Now I had to bring the ISO up with the standard kit lens, and I had to take down the shutter speed as well, because its low light capabilities wasn't that great. So here's the first issue I have with this lens. The focus takes so long, so it takes a long time to get to where you want to focus. Say you have something in focus close to the camera and then you want to pull focus all the way out to a far distance, you're going to have to pull it quite far. It's going to take a while to get there, and it's not always very accurate. It took me a couple of attempts to get it right. It just took a bit of practice. And also, of course, since it's a 50mm lens, you're going to have to get into corners if you're in a tight space. You might get a little crammed up or you might get some tight shots, so just keep that in mind. Now the autofocus is very good. It's very fast and it's very accurate. Obviously in manual mode it's not as accurate, but that also depends on the shooter. But in autofocus it's very quick, accurate, and it's extremely quiet. Take a listen. Some people complain about its build quality. A lot of people are expecting an $100 lens to be metal and well built. And I mean, not that the Nifty 50 isn't, but it's slightly plastic. I mean, obviously its mount is not, it's full metal, but the rest of the lens, as far as you can see, it's plastic. And I mean, it has some pretty decent weight to it, and it's a pretty solid lens. Now obviously with an aperture of 1.8, you're going to have some very shallow depth of field. However, you are going to have a pretty bright image. So I would suggest getting an ND filter. I didn't have one for this lens because mine was too big for it to fit, but I would highly suggest getting one because I had to turn my shutter speed all the way up into the like 2500s, and that's something that I didn't want to do. I wish I had an ND filter because then I could expose my image right and still have the correct settings. But on the other hand, having that ability to shoot in lower light is very convenient. But you do have to be careful that if you're shooting at a 1.8 aperture, you're going to have very shallow depth of field, and you've got to be careful with that because if your subject is moving in and out of focus, it's going to be very easy to tell. You can see them moving in and out of focus and it's going to be hard to follow them. And then you're just going to have your subject blurry the whole time. And just a quick look at some interviews I did. I shot this with the Canon 5D Mark III with the 50mm f1.8, and it looks very good. I did have the aperture at f1.8, which means that when they were moving back and forth, they went out of focus a little bit. But I mean, aside from that, the shot looks very nice. Now what I would suggest with this lens, like any other, is to get a UV filter. So essentially it's completely see-through and there's no filter to it. Now when you're shooting towards bright sources, you're going to get this like refraction or reflection. I don't quite know what you want to call it. If there is a shot where you do have that and you just want to get rid of it and there's no other way, just take the UV filter off and you're good to go. And if you ever did want one to look after your lens, there's a link to them in the description. Now one of the biggest questions that's burning up in you right now is, how good is its picture quality? Is it actually decent? Personally, I love it, but let's dig a little deeper into that. First off, since it's a 50mm lens, it's going to be good for your portraits and for the bodies of your subjects. It's not going to distort them and make them look unnatural. And also, oh, that motorbike again? It's like he knows I'm recording. Go away. Jeez. Every time. But just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about with its picture quality, look here. You can zoom in really far onto your subject and the image can still look really good. Now obviously the sensor in your camera and a bunch of that stuff is going to matter as well when you're taking a look at the quality, but the lens certainly does play a big role. The thing I love the most about this lens is its depth of field, or bokeh. Bokeh? Bokeh, that thing, yeah. Just take a look at how pleasing it looks to the eye. So all in all, this is a great lens. If you are interested in checking it out, link is in the description. And yeah, if you are interested in more filmmaking tutorials, photography tutorials, and so on, consider subscribing. And remember, learn, film, repeat. And until next time, keep smiling, keep shooting.